Hi there guys, welcome back to your Finances Homestead. So, quite interesting. A few days ago, I started germinating some of these coriander or dhania or methi seeds, as some of you might know them, or cilantro, as they're popularly known as well. The first time I was germinating some of them, and I was quite surprised with what I found out and the results as well. They germinate superbly quickly. I mean, within 2 or 3 days, these seeds are already germinated. And not only that, but for such tiny seedlings, for such thin seedlings, they're very vigorous in growth. Yeah, the way their roots search, I mean, their roots come out at least 2 inches in length just before the leaves even unfurl or it gets a stem. Growth is so aggressive that even though I had them in a wet paper towel, the roots were basically digging into the paper towel and back out. I mean, they were literally searching for maybe a specified nutrient, or maybe that's just the way coriander or cilantro actually grows. The roots probably, because this plant has such thin leaves, and it constantly needs a lot of water, a lot of water evaporation takes place in the leaves. I suppose this has many roots that go out really quickly and spread very far to make a fortitude or root the plant properly before it starts unfurling leaves and starts growing leaves. So a lot of the YouTube videos actually say you must split the seed. So something very cool that I found out is that the coriander husk contains 2 seeds. So when you germinate these, do expect twin plants to come out, or do expect at least 2 plants to show, or 2 plants to germinate from each of the seeds, or from each of the round seeds that you plant. So be aware of this, because you're going to have to split them out at some point in later on. What I started with about 25 seeds. So I've got literally about 40 plants. Okay, guys, awesome. So here we have a look at some of the seeds. That's how an ungerminated seed looks like, or a husk of a coriander. It's got 2 seeds inside. That's a freshly germinated seed, if I can call it that. It's got 2 seedlings inside in this part. You can see only one root is sticking out. Which brings us to our next one. Okay, this seed actually ended up getting a bit of fungus on it. Not sure why exactly. And the seedling emerged fully from the husk. And if I can pull these two apart here. Sorry guys, there's just one coming apart here. And of course, here's the twin seeds, where you can see the 2 roots coming out from a single husk, which is quite interesting. I never knew coriander seeds or cilantro seeds actually do that, so do keep that in mind, because you might want to thin out the plants later on, or you might want to account for the fact that there'll be 2 plants. And here I'm transferring them into a fruit container that makes a perfect greenhouse. Here's a 10 times speed of me inserting them into the soil or into the pot. Yeah, it was a big jumbled mess, so I had to take my time, and I split each of the husk into 2, and I separated them out so they have a bit of space to grow, because I do intend on actually growing all of these seedlings out till they're slightly more mature, or till they're able to give me enough cilantro leaves for my cooking purposes. So it was quite a mission separating the roots out and actually inserting them into the soil, because I had to actually split the husks. So for future reference, if you guys are germinating cilantro seeds, it's a good idea to crush them prior to germination. It will save you a lot of time in the process of germination, or later on when you're transferring them into the individual pots. I've also left some of the ungerminated husks in the pot as well, or in the sand, just in case that they might germinate later on at a later stage. You do get late seedlings or late seeds, which even though regardless they all started with all germinated at the same time period, some of them really just do take longer. I'm not sure why, whether it's a genetic code or whether the seeds were actually physically different in terms of husk thickness, or the protective layer protecting them, or the amount of water that was with osmosis actually made it to the seed to start the germination process. And I actually end up using germinating quite a lot of the cilantro seeds, because I do use a lot of the leaves in cooking, and it takes a lot of time for these stems to be replaced. But remember, you're not only using the leaves, sometimes you're using the stems of the plant as well. So it takes a big toll on the actual plant itself, and sometimes you're cutting down to 40% of the plant. So superbly interesting and rather easy to germinate. Um, but you'll be surprised at how aggressive these little seedlings are. These are some of the most aggressive seedlings I've germinated so thus far. So please subscribe, and I'll see you soon.